They would rather be in the old position that their bodies have become quite accustomed to, and remind me of a patient one time when I doing a postural exam, and I said, okay, stand up nice and tall, close your eyes, walk in place for a second. Now stabilize and turn your head left and right and back to the middle and all the way up and all the way down. And so the gentleman does that, and he says, now come to a neutral position, but keep your eyes closed. And so the gentleman is like this, and I said, are you looking straight out over the sea into the horizon? Yes, I am. I says, can you see the sun sinking into the ocean in the distance? He said, yes, I can, I can imagine that. And so I had to take a photograph. I didn't believe it, and he didn't believe me, that when he came to what he perceived to be the neutral position, he's looking northeast over there, north-southwest, or northwest, yeah, northwest out there into space, and he thinks that it's looking forward. So what it means to say is when you go in and check the person's posture, people's posture, you're going to see all kinds of deformities in the posture. Well, those deformities in the posture are spinal problems. This is disorganization, compromise, if you will, of spinal form and function. And in that scenario, you got a bunch of collagen tissue that has to conform and contribute to these changes, and over a period of time, they become very acclimated. In fact, you say, yeah, you look at the old folks there, and they say, yeah, I know because I'm getting to be one there, and so that's what happens. And so that is what's going on. We have compromise of ideal form and function, and all the soft tissue concomitants that go with it, all the stuff that goes along with it, ligaments, muscles, tendons, and what have you, compression of the discs and calcium buildup, degenerative arthritic change, etc., that continue to allow you to be and actually hold you into the posture that you've grown very, very familiar with. And it is actually quite a process to get you out of that and restore ideal form and function. That's what I do. It's what I've been doing for nearly 40 years now. And so then, yes, we know how to do that real well, but guess what? When we sell these pillows to people in Timbuktu, they're not in our clinics, and they may or may not have access to competent providers to assist them in training this out. And based on my book that I'm trying to write right now on core rehabilitation, it's grossly misunderstood. And we're going to try to establish factual references from that in that new book. But to make like a long story short here, what we've done is we've made this thing in 2 layers of memory foam on the top. We've taken this standard type foam with a particular density, however, in this 3/4 round, and bonded it to the 2 layers of memory foam, and then superimposed these bonded layers to 3 layers of latex. The uniqueness about the layers, however, is that only one of them is solid on the memory foam. Then there's a compartment, or a cutout, if you will, in the second layer, and the memory foam that was cut out of this section was actually dropped down into a cutout on the first layer of latex, which has been removed and discarded. It is available for you if you wish, however. And so then what happens is the memory foam drops down 1 layer, and it creates a hollow, a depression, if you will, a saucering, a hammock type feeling, where the head actually is cradled very, very nicely in that trough, if you will. And so then you can have that deeper, if you wish, by moving it 1 layer more deep, by dropping that down, and even having a deeper depression if you want that to contour your head more. Not that I advise it, I'm just saying that that's available to you, should you wish, until you get familiar with what is ideal. You may want to have some of what you have had and some of what you should have and need. And same old story is everybody wants a certain thing, but probably they need something else. And so then what we've done is made it various layers of latex, which you can take a layer completely out, and or 2 for young kids like 10-year-olds. They do very, very well on this with the medium builds and what have you. Obviously the heavier builds, they might want to have more layers, but the leaner builds and those youngsters do well with 1 or 2 layers moved out of this thing, and they sleep very, very well with a very beautiful support. Most of the kids that we've done in that puberty range have been very, very, very thankful and appreciative of this pillow. Now, another feature is that it has this rounded contour to go in and take up the space for the neck. But this has to be made out of a particular type of foam and density, so that, because that type of foam continues to be compromised over time. So what we had to do is to think about yield factors over time, so that that will continue to depress and then plateau. As it densifies, it'll stop going down, if you will, and it'll kind of stabilize right there, where it'll give you the feeling of comfort, yet retain a significant amount of the support, and that's that balance. Well, what that means is that in the early stages of using this pillow, you're not going to be so comfortable.